Learn the Houndstooth pattern on the knitting loom. This is a Fair Isle pattern that is stockinette. We're going to be working with 2 colors today and show you the stitch repeat. Welcome to GoodKnit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. Fair Isle is a design that is a 2-color or more stitch repeat where you make a pattern in stockinette of knits and you hold the yarns in the back and string it along until you need the next color. You don't actually cut your yarn, you just hold it. I'm going to show you a technique of twisting the yarns so that you don't have long floats of yarn hanging in the back that can get caught on things. You can work a Fair Isle back and forth like this in a flat panel, and we'll have a pattern down below in a link that has the chart. But you can also work it in the round. You just keep repeating over and over, reading the right side of the chart to the left, and then start again on the next round and keep continuing on to get that repeated pattern in the round. It is a 4-stitch repeat and a 4-row repeat. Be sure and click down below to get that pattern and chart. I also have a pattern in the round in a Fair Isle hat as well as a matching cowl for this classic look. It's also a 4-stitch repeat with 4 rounds, and you can substitute this 4-row repeat instead. So be sure and click down below for the patterns and the videos. Let me show you my chart and we'll work on this together. On the 3rd page of our pattern, you can see that we have a couple of charts. We have a small houndstooth chart, which we're going to work on today, and then we also have a large houndstooth chart. You can use either one. This is just for your convenience. It doesn't matter if you're working with a smaller, thinner yarn and a smaller gauge loom than I am, or whether you just want to make your houndstooth pattern look bigger. So the small houndstooth is what we're going to concentrate on today. If you're not familiar with patterns and charts, you'll always be starting on the bottom right on row 1. This doesn't mean it's your first row that you've worked on or round of a pattern. It's just the first row of that stitch repeat. So you could have a border that you already started on down below first, or a foundation row, which we're actually going to have today. And we'll work on that in a moment. It's the main stitch pattern that repeats over and over in this design is what this chart is all about. You're going to work all the way across, and then when you get to your 2nd row, you just go up above on the left and go across to the right in that direction. You can see by the key here that we're going to begin with contrast A, which is this light square, and the dark square is contrast B, which will be our next color. And then you're going to repeat A 2 more times. Well, when you're repeating this over a multiple of 4 stitches, then you will start again at the beginning of row 1 until you reach the end of all stitches you cast on. So these 2 here will actually end up looking like 3 of A together, and then repeating with 1 B, and then repeating 3 of A over and over until you reach the end, which will end in 2 of color A. So you have 3 of one color and 1 of the opposite color, and that's on every row. So when you go to row 2, you're simply repeating with the main color as the opposite color on that row. So if we move up to row 2, starting at number 2 on the left, you will have 3 of the opposite color, which is B, and then 1 of A, and then repeat that over and over until the end. Row 3, you'll be starting the same way you started on 2, but just in the opposite direction. So you start with 3 of color B and 1 of color A and repeat that until the end of your stitches. When you get to row 4, it begins just like row 1 did, except that you're going from the opposite direction. So we'll start with contrast A first, and then contrast B once, and then continue on with 3 of A and 1 of B, and so on until the end where you have 2 left and there'll be a contrast A. So that's how the chart works. Let's jump on over, and you're going to want to cast on. I'm going to show you and look at my sample of what you need to do first to get to this part of the chart. We're going to cast on our sample with 20 stitches, and I am using a large gauge loom, 5/8 inch spacing, and a super bulky weight 6 yarn, but you can use whatever loom you want. Just make sure the yarn is appropriate for that loom. I'll link you some basic tutorials on loom knitting if you need more help in figuring out what all that means if needed on gauge and everything. So this sample is a little bit over 6 inches wide and about 6 inches tall. It's about 3/4 of an inch wider than my needle knit sample right here, and just about the same height. You can do 5 pattern repeats to make this swatch. I'm going to show you the 4 pattern or 4 row repeat here in this video on how to twist the yarn so that you don't have those long floats in the back. So let's go over the basic format of this. You're going to be casting on and then making sure you start on the left when you want to make your foundation row of knit stitches only. So we're casting on in contrast A, color A, and working your first row in A before we start introducing that next color. For the knit stitches, you can work the U-knit stitch like I did, but you can also work the flat knit stitch or the true knit stitch. You can use E-wrap, but not lay flat like this one is. These are a nice flat V-shaped stitch instead of that Y-shaped stitch, so I suggest those. Okay, so I'll have links down below if you want to know what those stitches look like and how to make them. They're all knit stitches, but of course turn into those different sizes. So you're going to want to cast on 20 stitches. I did a double E-wrap cast on from right to left, and then work your foundation row of knit. And then we overall will be working 5 repeats of this, and then ending with a knit row of A, and then binding off in A as well. That's how the whole swatch is going to be. So go ahead and cast on, make your knit foundation row, and we'll meet back up. I'll show you how to do the 4 row repeat. Pause your video and I'll see you there. All right, we're ready for row 1 of our stitch pattern. We're going to knit the first stitch with the same A color that we're using, so mine's orange. And then I'm going to pick up my color B to work the next stitch. So we're just going to grab it from the back here. And then we're just going to leave a nice long tail. Don't put a slip knot on there. And then you can just weave in this tail later. And I'll put a link to weaving in tails and stockinette down below. So just go ahead and knit that over. All right, so now this is where we're going to start trapping in our yarn. So just take A and go around the back side of that second stitch, and we're going to go over to the third peg and knit that stitch. Okay, so we're going to take B from underneath where A is, so it's already there, so just grab it, and we're going to go forward between the third stitch and the fourth. Okay, so the one we just worked and the one we're about to work. And then now go ahead and with A continue knitting on the fourth stitch here. Okay, so this is the second one that we're doing on the chart. This is finishing out that 4 row repeat. So we've done A, B, A, A. All right, now we want to bring B to the back, all right, and then drop it, and then pick up A again, right here, and then work the third time with that. Okay, so this is starting right here, starting the next set of 4. And if you noticed, I went ahead and put together, I'm using the Flexi Loom, by the way, if you wondered in the beginning. I put together 2 links in these colors here so you could see where I've done the 4 row repeat, and then now you can see the lighter colored in the next 4 links. So this is the repeating part, so that's easier to tell here. So go ahead and knit that stitch on over. And once you do that, it locks in this one in the back, and you have successfully twisted up your yarn, and you don't have this really long loop, because you could have a loop from here all the way over to where we're going to be next. Okay, so we've got the first stitch in our repeat again, and then the second one is this color B. All right, so you see we've done 1, 2, 3 of A, and there is that B again. So we're going to grab B, and then just go over the top of A and go ahead and knit that stitch. All right, so now you can see that pattern start to emerge. There's where you got 3 colors, and then the opposite color once, and then now we're going to do 3 more colors of A, and then do B 1 more time again. So the way we twist that up, after you've done your accent color, you're going to pick up your main color for that row, and bring it up right over the top and knit that stitch. All right, and then pick up the other, actually just keep your A up on top, and then go underneath and grab that accent color, and we're going to trap it in. So we go in between our stitches, knit that stitch, and then you can just bring that yarn back and drop it, and then knit the next stitch. Okay, and then now pick up B, pick up your accent color and bring it up on top of A, and go ahead and knit that next stitch. See, so once you get used to that row, you're really just going to be looking to make sure, did I do 3 of A and 1 of B, or did I miss one? So that's really the thing that you need to check, especially if you start doing way more than 20 stitches. You really want to make sure that you've got this lined up right. So continue repeating this pattern. At the end, you'll have 2 of your A color. I'm going to show you this very last stitch because you need to set it up just how we did for this one where you trap it in. So let's meet back at these last 2 stitches. Pause your video and I'll see you there. All right, so we're on the last 2 stitches, and I'm going to try and hold this like as if I was holding this in my lap. So I'm just going to bend this around, and this is what it looks like for me. And we want to finish out every row like this that has 2 on it because we want to trap in the yarns the correct way. So we're going to bring A around the top, go ahead and knit that stitch just as normal. Okay, and then the very last stitch, we're going to bring under B, and then wrap around A, and then put B to the back, okay, and then knit over. That's actually what I do. I actually bring this one to the back before I even complete knitting it over when it's in my hands. It's just easier. I'll try and do that faster back here so you can see sort of the method of what I do. All right, so we've completed row 1. Now we're on to row 2. Row 2, your main color is going to be color B. All right, so you're going to switch it up and you're going to start with 3 of B. In this case, 3 cream and 1 orange. Okay, so 1 of A. So I want to make sure that my yarn is twisted the right way. We want to lock things in so you don't have a bunch of loose strands. So I want to make sure and lift up A. Okay, I may have said the wrong word again, but let's say lift up A and then bring B around so that when I work this first stitch, it traps in A here. Okay, and then just knit that one, and then now we want to bring our yarn forward for A and work with B, knit it over, and put this one to the back. And now we're going to bring B over the top of that A and knit the next one, so you have 3 of them together, and then you're going to grab A from the back and go up over the top and knit the next one. So you're going to repeat those. Pick up B, knit, go grab from under and grab A, go in between and up front to kind of prep it, and then knit with B, and you can bring A to the back already. Go ahead and knit that over, and then work the next one by dropping A and then working with B, knit here. So after I did that, you can see in the back here how it looks like a purl stitch. It's putting A back here like this, like a little scarf on the back. See, these are all nicely trapped in. There's nothing extremely long, and you're ready to move on with the next one, which is grabbing A and knitting that next stitch. All right, so same thing as usual. Just go ahead and keep repeating those 4 stitches over and over until the end, and you will end with color A. With color A at the end. All right, pause your video, and I'll meet you back for row 3. See you soon. Okay, so we are at the end. You've got your yarns looking like this at the back, and we want to make sure we start again with the same way we began row 2, and we've got 3 at the end there in the same color. So whenever we have 3 in the same color, you're going to use those same colors and start with 3 on the other side. That's just how it works. So if you notice, row 1 started with 1, and then went into the next color. Row 2 and 3 are the same way. So you can kind of prep your brain like that. So we ended with 3. Always look at what you started the last row with before you start this next row. So we're starting this one here, and we want to make sure that the white is on the top. So I'm going to bring it from underneath and around this orange here. Okay, and so this is B. We're going to knit with that one. And then this is where we bring it forward. Whoops. Yeah, I need to bring A forward, and then we want to put B on there and knit, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring A back and hold it. And now that I've already brought A back and held it, you can now drop it and grab A again, or B again, and knit. I hope I didn't say one of those words wrong, but now you see what I'm saying. So the middle one of the three colors is the one that's going to get with the yarn trapped around the back like that. Okay, and then now you can grab A for your accent there and knit with that one. So you can see how the beginning of this looks like the beginning of the previous row. So continue working those 4 repeats, and we'll meet you back for row 4. Pause your video and I'll see you there. All right, we finished row 3. Double check, make sure that you've got 3 of one color, 1 of the next, and so on and so on. Once you know that you've got it, go ahead and begin row 4, and we should have our yarn just like this at the end, and we want to make sure that we're going to start with the same color we're ending with, which is A, and go ahead and make sure that you're grabbing it from underneath so that you have the B trapped in. We're going to go ahead and knit that, and then we want to work with B, so we're going to make sure it goes over the top just like we've done before. Knit that. Okay, so now we're going to make A our next one, and then we're going to grab B from underneath and trap it in like we've done before. Wrap around with A, you can move B to the back, knit that stitch over, drop B, bring A around again on the next stitch, knit that, and then grab your accent color, which is B in this case, and work the next stitch. Okay, so you can see that row 4 begins just the way we began row 1. So you're starting with 1 stitch here of the opposite color of the main color, A, and then you go with B, and then you begin your whole 3 repeat of the same color, the main color that's right here. Okay, so you're going to continue working this all the way down, and I'll meet you back at the end. You should have 2 colors of this orange, or color A, at the end. I'll see you then. All right, I'm on the last 2 stitches of row 4, and I'm going to finish them out just the way I did on row 1, which is grab A and go around and knit, and bring forward B and knit with A, and you can bring B back again and knit, and that completes it. So you're just going to begin the next row just how you began this one and repeat it. So you can see how when you begin with 1, you do the next one with 1, and then you do the next beginning with 3, and the next beginning with 3, and they're the opposite colors. So just once you get the rhythm going and the chart going, that you should be good to go. I recommend when you're repeating these 4 rows that you finish out a 4-row repeat before you put your work down, if you can at all do that. I think it's best. And then you can also put in some yarn along here to make a lifeline. You can see a video where I've put in lifelines before. So anyway, to begin the next one, you would just wrap your yarn around and start with A again, making sure that it traps B in here, and then you would begin again just that same way, putting 1, and then the next color would be B once, and then repeating again with A again. So that's it. That's a 4-row repeat. Just keep repeating that over and over until you get 5 of these, or however long you're going to make your project, and then you're just going to work a row of knit and bind off. So I do have a video on binding off down at the link below. Thank you so much for joining me to work on the Houndstooth pattern. Also, this is a great substitute for the Jacquard Fair Isle pattern. And if you joined us doing the Harry Styles cardigan, I'm so proud of you, first of all. That's awesome. And if you decide that this 6¼ inches wide of the sample is too wide, you could make it 16 stitches to cast on, and it might be just a little bit short for what you need, but it'll stretch just a little bit. Otherwise, your seams will just be just a little bit thicker in the back, but you could totally do the 20 as well. So it's kind of just depends on your yarn and how tight you knit as well. Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.